what we do here is go back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Butler Press Pass. I'm Kelsey Casper.
And I'm Tisco Scaramouza.
We have a great show planned for you today with a feature on Jordan Tucker and an in-studio interview with men's basketball player Keelan Martin highlighting the show.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. But as we get ready to start off the show here, we're going to kick you off with a recap of what all went on in Butler sports this week, beginning with the Butler women's team.
Butler women's basketball team ended their season on Sunday with a loss to the Big East tournament top seed Marquette. An overtime victory versus the Providence College Friars on Saturday gave the Bulldogs a chance to play the defending Big East champs on Sunday. Michelle Weaver led Butler with 17 points, while Tori Schickel also put up 16 points and collected 6 rebounds. Star player Whitney Jennings was held to 6 points despite playing all 40 minutes in the game. The Bulldogs ended their season with 15 wins and 17 losses and a 6-12 record in the Big East, good for 8th in the conference.
Yeah, and the Butler's men's basketball team also lost against Seton Hall this weekend, despite a career game from forward Keelan Martin. Martin led the Bulldogs with 35 points and 6 rebounds, with most of those points coming from behind the three-point line. Martin shot 6 of 12 from deep, while the rest of the team just averaged 2 of their 13 three-point attempts against the Pirates. The Bulldogs will have a chance at revenge in the Big East tournament as they will take on the Pirates again tomorrow night.
Even though the 2017 season is still in full swing, Butler fans already have something to look forward to in 2018. Jordan Tucker, former top 50 recruit, transferred to Butler midway through the year and will be eligible to play come half the second season. Press Pass's Perry Wagner has more.
A story that started in 2010 when the teams faced off in the national championship game in Indianapolis. Nearly a decade later, that story of David and Goliath has added a new chapter, and his name is Jordan Tucker. The former top 100 recruit committed to the Blue Devils before recently transferring to Butler due to a lack of playing time. And just like many that have come before him, he's found a home here in Hinkle Fieldhouse.
Jordan Tucker.
Everybody's been welcoming me. I've been fitting in right, just trying to learn the plays and everything, but I think I fit in the system well, so I don't really stick out.
Tucker has been practicing with the Bulldogs ever since he picked them over Georgetown earlier this year. He has tried to keep a teammate-oriented mindset even though he can't suit up for Butler until the middle of next season.
I love it, you know. I like these guys. Everybody, I've been getting along with them fine, everybody, from the top to the bottom of the roster. I love the coaches and everything, so it's just like, for me, just cheering for them when they're making shots, making big shots, playing D, getting stops, and winning the game. I wanted to come to a school where I would have the most opportunity to be myself on and off the court and fit in the system right away.
Tucker says he now only wants to be known as a Bulldog.
I just want my legacy to start here at Butler, and that's what I want everybody to remember me as.
With senior forward Keelan Martin graduating this season, Tucker should play a big role in Butler's success during his years as a Bulldog. For the Butler Press Pass, I'm Perry Wagner.
As the Big East tournament starts up tonight, players and coaches alike are preparing for March basketball. Butler comes into the Big East tournament with a lot to play for, as a good performance could shape their NCAA tournament hopes. One of the integral parts of that team is forward Keelan Martin. The senior leads the Bulldogs in points and rebounds and is looking to make a splash in the Big East tournament this year. Our own Sam Wiederhaft has Keelan live in studio right now. Take it away, Sam.
He's a unanimous choice for the first team All-Big East team this season and third on Butler's all-time scoring list. The senior has averaged over 20 points a game this season, scoring 25 points in over 10 games. He's Butler's first conference scoring champion in 31 years and has been described as one of the most dynamic scorers in the country. I'm now joined by the man himself, Keelan Martin. Keelan, it's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
A very decorated year for you this season. Were you expecting that coming into this season?
Not really. I just continued to work over the summer and last spring, and the results came in as they came this year. I just continued to work and just stay humble with that, and didn't get too satisfied with it.
So where you guys are at in the season right now, the regular season is over, heading into the Big East tournament. You guys came off 2 straight tough losses to St. John's and Seton Hall. What's your mentality at right now?
Just moving on to the next game. Now it's like win or go home. That's the, that's our motto now. Coming in practice staying locked in, you know, being focused on scout reports and knowing what other guys doing from different teams, and just know every team brings it in March. You know, anybody can be beat in March, and you know, I think we have a chance to we can play with a chip on our shoulder, so we have a chance to come out there and just play with our all.
How do you guys plan on bouncing back in the game against Seton Hall? You're going to play them 2 times in a row, 3 times in the season. How do you guys plan on bouncing back and saying the 3rd time's the charm?
Maybe just making more changes, you know, adjusting like our defense, and you know, just making more. I mean, guys didn't make shots the other day, and you know that happens. But I feel like guys will step up, and include myself. I can step up and be more of a leader, and you know, just pass it down to the young guys. You know, just go out there and compete, and I think we'll get them come Thursday.
And with the 2 straight losses, you guys moved to a 19-12 regular season record. More conversation has been shifted toward Butler being a bubble team. Have you guys really paid attention to that, or you guys just focused on yourselves?
Just focusing on ourselves. Just focus on the Big East tournament first instead of the NCAA tournament. Just trying to make a run. You know, we never won a Big East tournament game yet, so if we can get that, you know, get that over the hump, you know, get to 20 wins, I think we have a great chance to, you know, not being a bubble team and have a great seed coming to NCAA tournament time.
Now, focusing on yourself, you scored 35 points in the loss at Seton Hall. That moved you into 3rd place all-time on Butler's all-time scoring list. What does it mean to be on a list with such great basketball history that Butler has?
It's a blessing. You know, I never thought I would see this day, being number 3 on the scoring list at a great university with a lot of great players. You know, I played with Kellen, and he was a great player. He was tremendous and a great guy. But I mean, it means a lot. Just, you know, just to my family, myself, my teammates. You know, just for pushing me, and my coaches just for pushing me to just, you know, become a better player and become a better leader on and off the floor. And you know, I hope other people that come in see that, and it humbles them.
So let's take it back to senior night for a second. 26-point performance and a very well-rounded victory against Creighton. How did it feel to play that last time on Hinkle and have such a great performance?
It was fun. I had some family members that never watched me play at Butler, and they came and watched me play, and you know, just playing in front of the crowd at Hinkle was fun. Also, you know, it was a great atmosphere, and being able to get the job done, getting a victory against Creighton, who is a tough team also. But you know, I just want to give credit to my coaches and staff and my teammates, you know, just for finding me and just making good plays.
You said you wanted to give credit to the coaches. One of the big storylines this season as a whole has been the coaching change from Coach Holtman to Coach LaVall Jordan now. What are some specific things that you've noticed that LaVall Jordan just does a little bit differently than the past years you've been here?
It's nothing really that's different. You know, we have a lot of freedom. You know, we're still a defensive minded team. The offense is more spacing, so you know, we come off ball screens more. We don't play through the post a lot, but I mean, Coach Val, he's a great guy. He's like a player's coach. You know, he coached at Michigan and Iowa, and he was also a player here. So he knows the game well, and he knows a lot of NBA players, and we watch film a lot also, and that's his biggest key. We study film a lot.
So you're a senior now. You've had to deal with a little bit of inconsistency on the head coaching side, recruited by Brad Stevens, and more coaches came in after that. But what gives you the confidence to say that the future of Butler basketball is in good hands with Coach Jordan?
Because he's a Butler guy, and you know, Butler always chooses a great coach. You know, you go from Brad Stevens to Brandon Miller to Chris Holtman, now LaVall Jordan. I mean, he's a great guy, and I mean, he fits this program. You know, he's another guy that values the Butler way a lot, and you know, and for him to be in this program, it's a blessing for him and his family.
So focusing now back on the tournament, Big East tournament, and then the March Madness tournament later on, what is the big key to making a deep run into the NCAA National Championship tournament?
Competing. We got to compete. Just giving it our all. Everybody has to show up, you know, which everybody will. I mean, that's not a problem, but and just playing, you know, just going out there and playing to win and having fun. That's what we talk about a lot in the locker room, just having fun, going out there and, you know, competing with the best. And you know, Butler's always been known for that, making, you know, back-to-back Final Four runs and things like that. We made a Sweet 16 last year, so I mean, we compete with anybody in the country.
You've had a pretty solid career here at Butler, Sweet 16 last year, hoping to make a deep run into the tournament. How would you describe your Butler experience all of your 4 years?
Went by fast, but it's been fun. You know, I've made it to the tournament 3 years in a row, and hopefully to make it a fourth year. But yeah, I mean, it's just been fun. I played with a lot of great guys, you know, from Roosevelt Jones to Kellen Dunham, Andrew Travis, Cam Woods, Alex Barlow. I can go on, but you know, those guys, you know, helped me. They big brother me, so and they passed down the torch to me. So I mean, it's just been a blessing to play with them, and then playing for Coach Holtman and that coaching staff.
So now with the biggest games of the tournament coming up, I know that there's a little bit of pregame rituals before every game, but everybody seems to have a pregame playlist. What's going to be on your pregame playlist here for these next couple games?
Just Drake. That's all.
Just
I listen
Drake?
to. Drake. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Drake. He keeps me going.
That's Butler's star player, Keelan Martin. Keelan, good luck in the tournament. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next time. Back to you.
Thank you, Sam. Now it's time for this week's Top Dog Moments, where we pick the best 3 plays of the week in Butler sports. And now we'll bring it back to Sam Wiederhaft, who's going to give you this week's Top Dog Moments.
I'm Samuel Wiederhaft, and these are the Top Dog Moments of the week. The number 3 moment this week in Butler sports is Tyler Weidman being chosen for the Big East Sportsmanship Award. The award was voted on by head coaches in the conference, as Weidman became the 3rd Bulldog in 5 Big East seasons to win this award for Butler. Weidman is averaging 9.4 points per game on the court, but off the court, he works as a middle school coach and volunteers to work clinics for athletes with special needs. The number 2 moment this week was Butler baseball collecting a 19-1 victory over St. Peter's to improve to 10-1 on the season. Zach Parker led the charge, going 2 for 2 and hitting in 5 RBIs. Ryan Pepio started the game and tossed 5 complete innings with 6 strikeouts. The number 1 top dog moment was senior Keelan Martin's 35 points in his final regular season game against Seton Hall.
Spinning down the lane, muscles it up and in. Martin, 3, yes! And Butler back within 3, 60 for a 3.
This has been the Top Dog Moments of the Week.
It's another one. My goodness, he's got a shot.
Thank you, Sam. And for the last segment of the show, I am sitting down with Cisco and fellow Press Pass reporter Perry Wagner to talk about the Big East tournament, which starts today in Madison Square Garden. All right, Perry, let's start with you. The Bulldogs finished their season with a 19-12 record. How would you rank these Bulldogs in their first season with new head coach Jordan?
Yeah, so I'm going to give them a grade from, F to A. I think that this is a situation where you have to kind of separate them into 2 different grades, because this was a team that was picked 8th in the conference. So the fact that they ended in that 3 to 6 range, I think they get an A+ for exceeding expectations. But once we saw this team beat Utah at home, and then they went to the PK80 and beat Ohio State and Portland State, and then they came back and beat Villanova at home, I think everyone kind of realized that this was a high-level tournament, NCAA tournament team. So when you lose to the likes of Georgetown and St. John's late in the year like they have, I think it's going to lower your grade a little bit, but I'm going to give them an A- to a B+.
And Cisco, the Bulldogs will be ranked number 6 in the field and will play Seton Hall on Thursday for the second round of the tournament. How do you think the Bulldogs are going to match up against Seton Hall yet again?
We'll just have to see which Bulldogs team shows up. Like you talked about, this is a team that has really great moments, and we're not really sure. So we have to look at this team and see if they can use these couple days of rest that they've had. They had that game Saturday. They got back Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They've left today, and they're going to be playing tomorrow. So they're going to have all that time to get rest, watch film, make sure they're good to go. And if the real Butler team shows up, which is, Keelan and a lot of the starters being able to execute, I think they have a very good shot at beating Seton Hall.
And Angel Delgado and Kadeen Carrington have given the Bulldogs problems in both matchups this season. Perry, what do you think the Bulldogs need to do in order to slow down their offensive weapons?
Well, the crazy thing is that neither of those players are their leading scorer. That would be Desi Rodriguez, who didn't play last week. I think when he comes back for this tournament, it's actually going to help the Bulldogs. They've stopped him last year. They stopped him this year when they played at Hinkle. So I think taking away shots from Kadeen will actually help the Bulldogs a little bit, even though it may seem a little weird to think of it that way. And then Delgado, he's a player that is interesting. He plays really hard at the beginning, the first 5 minutes. He plays really hard in the last 5 minutes. And it's really hard to stop him then, but everywhere in between that, I think we can really take advantage of his lackluster play.
And Cisco, going back to the point that the Bulldogs have not won a game in the Big East tournament since joining the league in 2013, what do you think the Bulldogs need to focus on in order to break that losing streak?
Pass the ball around a little bit more. I mean, we're talking about a team that Keelan Martin shot for 35 points versus the next highest scorer on the team was Tyler Weidman with 10. So you need to see this ball go to the rest of the guys, and also shot selection. Paul Jorgensen, when he's hitting threes from, half court or whatever, it's not really an issue, but the problem is we can't rely on that. You have to make sure you're taking good IQ basketball shots if you're going to be able to score points and win the game, which is kind of the whole point.
I agree. You touched Keelan scored 35, and the team as a whole only scored 70,
Yeah.
so he's scoring half of the points. I don't know if it's necessarily that the ball needs to be passed and shot more. I think other players are getting opportunities. It's just the fact that they're not hitting the shots.
Yeah.
If you look at the game against Villanova, Paul Jorgensen had over 20. Kamar had 19. Each player off the bench had at least 8, and we won that game pretty soundly. So if the rest of the team can perform just like Keelan does, or at least to some level close to it, I think we got this one.
We just need 5 Keelans.
Yeah, well, let's hope the rest of the team shows up to play tomorrow at Madison Square Garden.
And that's all we have for you today on the Press Pass. For the rest of our team here, I'm Cisco Scaramouza.
And I'm Kelsey Casper.
We have our credentials. Now you have yours. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Good night.